Excerpts from the book AIA Guide to Newport by author Ronald J. Honorato. Two buildings: John Rathburn, George Gardner, Abraham Rodriguez House, now Citizens Bank, circa 1772 and altered in circa 1740 and in 1950, and Bank Newport, built in 1929 to 1930 by Thomas and James Architect, 8 Washington Square and 10 Washington Square. The eye-catching ornamentality of what currently houses Bank Newport, replete with a monumental Corinthian colonnade, cast bronze doors, and carved marble moldings, was surprisingly called purely colonial by a local newspaper at the time of its dedication. Given its date, many of these carefully included details are industrially mass-produced rather than individually crafted, but they still show a remarkable sense of little things that, when combined, make for a visually pleasing whole. The scale of these elements is another matter. A somewhat backward ambition for the early modern period to evoke status and stability using a monumental classical idiom. The interior is worth a visit, as a virtually intact double-storied banking room with mahogany fixtures, plaster reliefs, and massive vault doors behind the grilled teller's counter. When built, the then-named Savings Bank of Newport replaced a modest wood-frame grocery store and must have stood out, particularly in contrast to the smaller gable roof structure across Duke Street. Originally, the John Rathburn, George Gardner, Abraham Rodriguez House, circa 1722, but subsequently altered, the wonderfully pedimented dorm was seen mid-18th century, and since 1804 used as a bank. It was restored, recolonized, in 1950. Whatever their function, colonial frame buildings were often all but indistinguishable from private residences until form started to follow function in the 19th century. Today, the date of the Bank Newport's 1929 building may seem a bit strange, coinciding as it does with the onset of the Depression, but the colonnaded building is one of over a dozen civic masonry structures employing a revival idiom and constructed in Newport between 1916 and 1940. Such a concentration suggests how important brick-and-mortar projects were to Newport's economic survival during those lean years.